Good, let's do it. Ready.
Alright. Shake on it. Hello friends, welcome to User Friendly. My name's Roberto Hoyos, and I am the founder of a company called Throwboy. I'm here with my friend...
Erfon Elijah. I'm the founder of a company that's called Might Tease. I'm also a writer for culturnarc.com. And it's episode 12 of User Friendly.
Episode 12, User Friendly. User Friendly...
Tell me what it is.
Is a podcast.
Because I'm actually not sure.
And it's a video form podcast.
That's true as well.
Where we sit on a couch, relax, hang out, and discuss tech news and geeky subject. Not just news, because we don't really consider ourselves a news outlet.
If you're getting your news from us,
you shouldn't be doing that.
You shouldn't be doing that. And then we also talk about our favorite stuff on the web.
That's right. That's a better way of saying it anyway.
Dude, I'm sorry. I got distracted by your...
Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at.
It's like a GIF panel of the dog attacking Will Ferrell in I Am Legend.
Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell. I mean, Will Smith. You know why I said Will Ferrell?
Why?
Because I was listening to Afternoon Delight on Spotify from Anchorman.
Oh.
Do you remember that movie?
I've only seen a little bit of it.
Okay. Well, if anyone's seen Anchorman, I know you know what scene I'm talking about.
I'm going to just turn down my brightness.
And it was on Spotify. And they have a whole album of them singing songs.
Oh, it's them singing?
Yeah, it's Will Ferrell.
See, I don't know.
And I forgot the other, Paul
Will
Rudd
Smith.
and all the other guys. And Will Smith was there. And there was a
rapping,
dog. There's a zombie dog. Anyway.
Right. So, how are you doing this evening? We're doing this late today.
We are doing this late today. I feel good. I feel like I'm winding down from a freaking crazy 12 days. Mm-hmm. So both of us had Comic-Con, and then I had SakuraCon, which you came to for a little while.
Yep.
And they're both 3-day events, and they're both, it takes a ton of effort to like pack all your stuff in there. Yeah. Not to mention on Wednesdays we do User Friendly, and then on Thursdays I do Cultcast. Mm-hmm. So I was like just scrambling
and then
for
you have
2 weeks.
Your day job. At least you don't have to go to a desk job, because then you'd be impossible.
Oh,
to do
there's no way I could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I didn't work from home, there's just no way I would be able to pull all that off. Because I mean, even Comic-Con was so much work setting up.
Oh yeah, yeah. We did. I mean, because we were pretty elaborate with our booth this year, so but you had that times 2 because I didn't go to SakuraCon, which was the following week,
right?
So
and it was just a lot of setup. I have these giant, so basically you get a 10x10 booth space at a lot of these cons, and you could do anything you want with it. They'll give you a table, and then they give you this thing they call pipe and drape, which is basically a pipe with a curtain over it, just so it like sections off your little area.
Right.
And then you can do whatever you want. You can build a booth in it. You could have tables and shelves, whatever. So we both kind of spent a good amount of time planning out our booth design. But at Comic-Con, or at SakuraCon, which is the Northwest Anime Convention, I don't know if we said that, I had the entire SakuraCon.
That's
SakuraCon-san.
Yeah.
I think that would have liked it better if they would have called Sakura-san.
All the authentic anime cosplayers, they go Sakura-Con.
Yeah, like we say Sakura-Con and they just go Sakura-Con. They put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. So I was doing that event all by myself, so I had to replan out our entire booth space because all of a sudden we weren't there together.
Yeah, so you had a whole booth.
So I had a whole booth, and it was just tricky getting everything planned out. And so anyway, you came to SakuraCon, or sorry, SakuraCon. It was both of our first times there.
Yeah. It was.
And what was your impression just walking in? Because we were in the exact same convention hall.
Yeah.
The week prior for Comic-Con.
Right.
And it felt totally different, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I walked in. I got there on Saturday, so I went on the busy day, and yeah, it was crazy because it was more spread out because I guess maybe less attendees, or not less attendees, but maybe less vendors. But there was a crap.
I think less
people,
vendors.
You know? There was a lot of people. I felt like there was more people there, and it was crazy because it was like 75% cosplay. Like everybody was dressed up.
Everybody was dressed up. That was one of the things I liked about it too.
Which was cool. But then everybody's dressed up as stuff that I have no freaking idea what it is. Because I'm not into anime. I don't like anime. I admittedly do not like anime. But And so I don't know. I just was like looking around, and it was just super crowded. But I was kind of scouting around, you know, because I didn't go this year, so I was like, does Throwboy fit here? You know, am I going to be able to sell my stuff in this crowd? Because it was a much younger crowd.
Yes.
Right.
Comparatively to Comic-Con, especially.
To any Comic-Con, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you see a lot of anime. You see a cosplay anime. You see a lot of people selling anime-related things like prints or like a lot of plushies is what they call them. You know, like plush toys. People will have entire booths just spread out with plush
Tons
toys.
of Pokemon stuff.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you know, then the cosplay, there are some characters that we do recognize. Like, there'll be, like, Mario walking around or stuff like that.
Yeah, those are, like, generally the older people, too. Like,
yeah. The older people are, like, the Trekkies and stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
totally. That was one of my biggest surprises is, like, you have this young crowd, I mean, young, like, you know, 12, 13, 14, 15. I would say the mean age is probably like 15 or 16.
Yeah, on average, right?
On average, yeah. And they're all dressed up, and they're from all these, like anime things that I have never heard of.
Right.
And just to give you an example of how far on the fringe this crowd is, I had some kid telling me, he was trying to explain to me why Pokemon was mainstream. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, if you think Pokemon is mainstream, you are so far out there. Like, most people don't even know what a Pokemon is.
I think it is sort of mainstream.
Amanda, do you know what a Pokemon is?
Yes.
What is it?
They're like these little creatures, and I don't know, you train them and fight them. And
Okay, see, I know what that is too, but that's like the extent of like what I know about it. And I would
used to
say,
watch the show.
oh, you did?
Well,
Oh wow, she's proving me wrong.
my brother was in it.
Oh, he was.
It wasn't me.
Okay, well, I think Pokemon kind of started getting popular.
It's a Nintendo property, dude.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I thought Nintendo just made video games after it got popular. Oh wow. Okay. See, I didn't even know that. But anyway, this kid's telling me that Pokemon is mainstream, and I'm like, no, Star Wars is barely mainstream. Like,
I guess what's your definition? Like in that crowd, you know, they're probably like thinking that's normal. You know, that's probably the most well-known thing in this entire crowd.
it might be, yeah,
because everything else is just crazy.
And every time
like,
you'd ask like what your costume was from,
Yeah.
you'd get an answer, and then you'd be like, oh yeah, and then they'd be like, oh, and they'd explain it another way. They're like, oh, well, it's not actually related to Blur Blur Blur.
Yeah.
It's actually more of a Blur 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 character.
it's
and you're
like their own character.
yeah, it's like there's all these derivatives that they've created in this costume.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy not knowing anything about this culture at all. And I guess I kind of expected it to be more similar to Comic-Con, which you'll see like a lot of sci-fi stuff, a lot of fantasy stuff. You see people walking around as superheroes and comic book characters, and it wasn't like that at all. Like it was very, very Japanese culture influence, which may be obvious. And all these characters that like you would just never have heard of ever, and they were all familiar with each other. And super young, and I don't. We're not going back next year. I don't think it's really our crowd.
Okay.
Like.
So what was your experience as a vendor?
So as a vendor, I mean, I probably barely broke even, which isn't great, but you know, it's still pretty good, and I had a great time. I loved seeing all the characters, and I loved talking to people, but like we have like a lot of sci-fi and like Star Trek related products, Star Wars related products, and I can't tell you how many people came up to our booth and was like, oh my gosh, my dad would love that. My uncle would love that. I probably heard that 10 times. I'm not exaggerating. Like, I couldn't believe how many kids like would not get like these sci-fi references that we make in our designs. They just had no idea.
Yeah. But did that open your eyes up to like your potential customers, or like where you need to target, or like oh, that's why young people don't buy our designs? Like, did that open your eyes to that sort of thing?
Well,
like,
it
on
did.
your website point of view. That's
Sure, yeah. I mean, in multiple ways. I mean, I don't think it's that young people don't like our stuff. It's that those young people don't like our stuff. I mean, you could argue like these are the super geeks of their age group, right?
Yeah, because
like,
they're not common teenagers.
Yeah, they're not common teenagers. They're really, really into like this Japanese anime culture. And, you know, there were kids who are really into art, who are really into sci-fi, and those kids like our designs. Like, they totally get them. It's just this group didn't.
Right.
I've never been into like day 2 of a con and been like, this is not my scene, you know? Like normally like people get the stuff that we do, but like these people did not understand us.
And you're just like, whoa.
And meanwhile, there's a guy across the way from us who has this giant booth, and he's selling like pillows, like polyfill pillows with
like this,
these,
like this,
exactly like this, except they're like sleep pillows. And there's like a screen printed like Japanese guy holding a sword on it, you know, doing a freaking karate kick, and he can barely keep these things in stock. And I'm like, dude, and I see people walking around with these pillows, and I'm like, who is buying that? Like, even if you liked that show, why would you buy a giant pillow with a screen print of this character on it?
It's like something you'd find on Cafe Press.
Yeah,
with a black border around it.
Yeah, it was just totally bizarre. So I had a great time doing it, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't go back as a vendor. It's fun to go to if you're into like, you know, just like costumes and stuff. Mm-hmm. But actually, one last thing I wanted to point out. We've done a few of these cons now so far. Mm-hmm. I'd say more than a few. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because you see these people at cons with these really intricate costumes, and you're like, whoa, that's really cool. Well, now that I've done SecureCon and Comic-Con in the same like 9-10 day period, I've noticed that I actually see the same people everywhere I go.
Oh, really?
So like, we were at Comic-Con and there was this really tall blonde kid who was basically tall Jesus.
Oh yeah, I saw him there too.
Yeah. And then at SecureCon, I was like, hey, that's tall Jesus, except this time he's wearing jeans. Oh. He only has half the outfit on. And there's this really nerdy dude who walks around with this giant yellow hammer, and he's got like this full costume. I don't even know what he's from. See him at Comic-Con, I think I've seen him 2 years. SecureCon, giant hammer dude walks by, and I was like, he just trolled these events wearing his costume. Like, this is what he does for fun. Like, he doesn't come here to buy anything. I don't even know if he goes to the panels.
Dude, the other like the more in that what you're speaking of there, people just like busting out their costumes to go to the con are the furries. And do you know what that is? The furries, it's gross, go Google it, but it's like people that wear like full on like what do you call it? Like almost like a mascot outfit, like a wolf outfit or like a beaver outfit or something, you know?
Yes,
and they like treat it really seriously. They think that they're what do you call it? You know, I was born an animal and this is like the closest I can get type of thing. So that's its own culture, but like they're like kicking it in the lobby, just like full on furry out, just because they know they can like sort of like mingle. But in reality, they want to go out and just, you know, buy groceries in that kind of outfit and stuff like that. So like that's another thing that you'll see like a lot of. And if you actually Google the word furry, you'll see a lot of sexual stuff.
Oh, dude, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
What you would find if you turned off Safe Search.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's on. Or is it on?
My Safe Search is always off.
So. That's for another time.
Well, hey, if you're interested in seeing photos of costumes from SecureCon or Comic-Con, I always take my camera to these events, and I got a lot of great pictures. Go to facebook.com/MightTees, MIGHTTEES. I just posted a gallery of like 80 or 90 pictures, I think, of all my favorite costumes from SecureCon. I mean, SecureCon.
Yeah.
And if you're interested, go check it out and comment on it and let me know that you saw them. Let's move on, shall we?
Awesome. Yeah.
So big news this week.
Big news this week came out on Monday, so you're watching this, maybe it's old. Facebook buys Instagram for $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Yeah. And says that they're going to leave it as its own standalone app. So basically they're buying it in a similar way that Google bought YouTube and left YouTube, you know, didn't make it into Google Video, they just left it as YouTube. So so this stirred up a lot of craziness because a lot of people are like, oh, Facebook's gonna ruin Instagram, I don't have a Facebook sucks, Instagram sold out, all this stupid crap. What do you think?
Well, geez, dude, what do I think?
Let's start with this. Do you use Instagram?
I used to use Instagram. I don't really use it very much anymore. It's just yet another social network to use, and I just, got busy and stopped using it.
You got me into it because I freaking hated on it for a long time. I was like, I don't get this. What, another social network, filters, who cares? Then we went to Austin, and you were like, no, dude, it's like a really easy way to make like any photo beautiful. Mm-hmm. And then I started really getting into it. So like every day I'm kind of like, oh, what's my next Instagram gonna be?
Do you still use it every day?
Oh yeah. And I've gained a lot of followers on there. I have like about 900 followers.
Oh wow.
Like organically following Throwboy, which is really, really cool because like I'll post a lot of behind the scenes stuff there.
That is honestly, that's especially if you have a brand, that's what I think its biggest utility is like when we were at CES, we used our Cult of Mac Instagram account to do all these like different party pics of us behind the scenes, and people love that stuff. Like it's right because they see you write these articles by day, and then at night you're at the Wired party, right? You're like all these great parties,
things they can't see. So,
there's things that you couldn't see, and for that was really awesome. We did this stupid bit called the carpets of CES. So we just walk around to different casinos and just take a picture of the carpet, and people got into that. So in that instance, it was really cool. I mean, I think Instagram is great. I think the only reason I don't really use it anymore is just because, just like Twitter.
Yeah, you have trouble finding.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's like I have to get into the habit of doing it and be like, okay, what am I gonna do today? What am I gonna take today? But honestly, I feel like I should get back into it. But I think more than anything else, $1 billion. I mean, Google bought YouTube for $1.6 billion.
Oh, is that right?
And it was like I think YouTube at that time was 2.5 years old.
Yeah, and they were losing money like a mother.
Were they?
Yeah.
But I mean, online sharing a video made a lot more sense to me. This for $1 billion, and this has been like kind of the chatter I've heard. People weren't surprised that Facebook bought Instagram. People were surprised that Facebook paid $1 billion for Instagram because I mean, Instagram has a ton of users, but they don't have any way of making any money. So the big question is, why do they pay so much money for them?
Well, they have a ton of users. They have the most uploaded photos, like well beyond any other service per day. I hear that it's some crazy number, the equation of how many they get to the amount that Flickr gets now. It's like ridiculously
skewed, I'm sure, yeah.
And but then they also have a crap load of data, dude. Like how many people tag these things? Like these tags could be used in other ways. Like I've heard the Instagram guy do an interview once, and it was kind of like, are you guys
Kevin something Systrom, right?
Yeah, I heard like
he's one of the co-founders.
Yeah, he was one of the he's one of the co-founders, and Systrom,
dude, wow. Go me.
So yeah, they were like, well, are you thinking about ways to make money in this service? Like, some of the other places like Path, they'll charge you, 99 cents for a filter. And he's like, I think there's actually much more potential beyond just charging for, a 99 cents filter for each
they
thing.
don't want to turn into Zynga, right?
Yeah. So like, I mean, I don't know the answer, but they do have a lot of data and a lot of eyeballs, and eyeballs translates to dollars.
Big dollars. Well, one of the analysts I heard talking about it said that he thought the reason Facebook paid so much is because they wanted to make sure that Twitter didn't get them. Because there are multiple companies interested, and one of the companies interested, I guess, was Twitter, and Twitter could have done a lot with Instagram. I mean, it's such a natural fit, isn't it? I mean, everyone's tweeting out their Instagram pics anyway.
Right, that's probably where it gained the most traction.
Yeah, exactly. So Facebook was like, crap, we don't want to have Twitter improve their social network, status.
Right.
So they just paid whatever they had to get it. So in any case...
And then some people think that they just bought it because they're like, okay, nobody else is going to own mobile photo. We need to own mobile photo,
Yeah.
And that's why people speculate that they're going to kill it off. Like, oh, yeah, they'll leave it alone for a year, but in a year it'll be baked into Facebook, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really... I mean, I feel like that's just like a obvious bad move,
I think so too. I mean, they're going to lose a lot of their user base if they try to do that, I think, because one of the reasons people like Instagram is because Instagram isn't Facebook. It does things very differently. It's very easy to use. And if Facebook tries to, integrate it, I feel like that makes it way more complicated. And I don't know. I mean, I think they would be smart just to kind of leave it alone and maybe add some integration to Facebook if you want to. And actually... Mark Zuckerberg even said that they weren't going to change it,
right?
And that if you wanted to connect your Facebook account, you could, but you still didn't have to. We'll see how long that lasts.
But this sort of thing is like they have that in writing. You know, like that's how Zappos works. You know, when Zappos got bought by Amazon, they stayed as their own independent entity.
That's true.
And that's in writing. You know, like they have to sign. That's the whole deal. So I don't know what the PR spin on it. Like the Mark Zuckerberg PR letter, but maybe they're not really like revealing the details of that. But I think they have to once it actually becomes like public, right?
Well, that's another strange thing, right? I mean, Facebook is not even like a public company. Like they're still a company with investors.
Yeah.
And they just spent $1 billion to buy another company that isn't public.
And have they done other acquisitions? I don't remember.
Yeah, remember they bought remember when we were at South by Southwest, we saw Group.me or something?
Yeah.
Or GroupMe or whatever, and then we saw Beluga.
Yeah.
And Facebook bought Beluga.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and Beluga is closed now, right? I mean, they closed it
I
down.
don't know. They bought Koala too.
Oh, they bought Goala.
And they bought Gowalla, but that was a talent acquisition, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
Like they just wanted the team from Gowalla. So they bought all sorts of companies, but who knows? I mean, Facebook, they're saying Facebook's going to go public in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard.
Dang. That's
From my inside sources, the internet.
You think that's going to go well and not going to be like, what was the one that went really bad?
Groupon?
Groupon, yeah.
Dude, I think the Facebook stock is going to go ape shite.
Yeah.
I think it's going to skyrocket. At least at first, but so did Groupon at first, and then it dropped. But I feel like that's what always happens with these tech companies. It's like the group or the stock skyrockets, and then it settles down at a normal level once people can actually see how the company is doing. Mm-hmm. You know, actually, strangely, one of our friends is dating one of the co-founders of dude, it's at $13. Groupon is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Down 47 cents.
Its IPO was 24.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Jeez. Or maybe it was 17 actually, and then
It's just like steadily going down.
My brother was saying that should be enough caveat. This may not be true. My brother was saying that Groupon's actually having a lot of trouble, and that they're losing money left.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
And he was saying that like restaurants may not honor the Groupons if they close.
Oh.
But from my understanding,
But wait, don't you have to cash it in like really soon, right after you get it?
Groupons?
Yeah.
No, I have Groupons that are 6 months old. They expire at different times.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think I've bought one and then it expired before I got to use it.
Really?
Yeah.
That sucks when that happens.
Yeah.
But Groupon's
I think
generally really good about that.
It's all losing its steam, all that shit that was like, oh, you just have to put in your email. Now you're like, oh my god, I got another stupid Living Social email. You know, like all this stupid shit like you get bombarded with and then it just loses its appeal, you know?
That's true. Now everyone's doing it. The market's so saturated. But I have to say I love Groupon and I love Living Social. I use them all the time. Mm-hmm. I love to eat. I love to go out to eat, and it's like when I can get like a Groupon for like $10 for like $30.
Yeah.
You know, it's so great because like I would have gone out anyway.
I feel like
now I get a huge discount.
I hear that what do you call it? That the merchants, or not the merchants, the restaurants say that they're not doing very well from these like supposed great deals, you know, like getting people in the door and then they never freaking come back. Or
dude, I believe that.
Come back to your restaurant
so
and buy something.
Let me tell you,
know?
I use Groupon all the time. I'm like a Groupon user, right?
You're a Groupon whore.
I'm a Groupon whore. I use them all the time. Let me tell you my experience with Groupon. I will only eat at a place if they have a Groupon, right? And that's what they're trying to get you to do. They're trying to get you to buy a Groupon and go to a place that you've never been before. Sure. That works for me. I do that all the time. Uh-huh. But what I think where it's broken is that Groupon always tries to tell the vendors, oh well, you're gonna make a new customer, and I think probably 1 out of 10 times that's true.
Yeah,
but if I'm a guy who likes to spend $10 on a Groupon to go out to eat, am I gonna come back when I don't have a Groupon and spend $30?
Yeah.
Hell no. It's like I like these pizza places that charge like $30 for a gourmet pizza. It's like I'll pay $10 for it. But I'm not paying you $30. It's like you are crazy. I'll just buy a Groupon somewhere else.
I never understand your spending habits because you like certain things you'll go like full hog on like certain things.
Dude, I grab that hog in a headlock and I'm just like, give me that.
And certain stuff you're like, damn, that coffee's $4. Jeez, that good load. That's a lot of money.
Good load.
I'm like, okay.
Well, if the food's really good, then I don't mind as much up to a certain point. But I feel like with a lot of these places, like they're just not great restaurants, you know? Like you'll eat there and you're like, oh, this is just like every other place I've been.
The reason you have a Groupon is to try to get people to like your restaurant.
Right? Like if your food was great, you'd be busy.
Exactly.
That's like you wouldn't need to do a Groupon. But we found a lot of great places through Groupon. Like remember we used to go eat at Blue Water Bistro down near Green Lake? Yeah. And that place was fantastic. I found them through a Groupon and I would definitely go back there. And I did go back there. But a lot of these places, it's like, all right, well, your food sucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, Seattle's notorious for having bad Italian restaurants. Notorious. They're all terrible, and we've gone to several with Groupons, and they've all been bad. The one place I love has never done a Groupon, and I'm willing to spend my money there all day long.
The Olive Garden.
Yeah, it's called the Olive Garden. They have these delicious breadsticks.
Unlimited soup and salad.
Unlimited! How do they make money? Anyway, I don't know how we got off on that tangent. Let's wrap this thing up. We got one short story left.
One more.
This is really cool. If you've heard about this, you might be excited. There's going to be a new database created by wireless carriers that could render stolen phones useless. Pretty self-explanatory. Let me tell you a little story.
Yeah.
In college, I used to sell cameras and I used to sell phones and stuff on eBay. I had an eBay business, and it's actually how I put myself through college. Well, one day, I had my car parked in broad daylight in a parking lot in a shopping area across from all these restaurants. And I had a bag full of stuff that I had sold that needed to go to the post office. It was all packaged up and was in this giant white bag. And I was gone from my car for maybe, I don't know, a couple hours. I come back to my car and I leave. And I notice as I'm driving away that my giant bag, which is the size of Santa Claus's toy sack, is gone. Freaking gone. $3,000 with cameras, cell phones, all that gone. I had the IDs on the cell phones, so I called, I think it was like Sprint or something, and I was like, these have been stolen. I want to make sure that you don't activate them, or if you do, I want to know who bought them. And they're like, we can't help you. And I'm like, I have the ID number. Like,
why else would you have
They're like, we don't do that. And I was like, you're telling me that these phones have been stolen, you have them attached to our account, and you're going to go ahead and activate them regardless? And they're like, there's nothing else we can do. I was so pissed, and I never understood why carriers weren't willing to take action. Well, now they finally have. The carriers have agreed to create this database, right? Because mobile smartphone theft is skyrocketing. I just heard a story on NPR the other day about a lady who was reading her iPhone on a train, and the train stopped, and right before the door closed, some guy ran, took her phone, and just ran out the door, and it closed. And it's like, and there's nothing she can do because he can call AT&T or whoever and get it activated and sell it.
Yeah.
So they're creating this giant database. And so from now on, once they have this thing going, you'll be able to call your cell phone company and say, my cell phone was stolen. You give them the little ID code. And from that point forward, that cell phone can never be activated. So if you buy a cell phone off Craigslist and it's stolen, it doesn't work. Finally,
that's
I don't know.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And it seems so like duh type thing, you
know? Dude, yeah,
it's like a credit card.
Yeah, it's like you called your credit card company.
More information than your credit card would have. You know?
That's true, and it's so easy to steal, right? It's like, especially if you can get it activated. So now, like, the idea is that people will start buying these stolen cell phones and won't be able to do anything with them. Well, gosh, how many times does that have to happen before everyone's worried that the cell phone they're buying is stolen?
It probably happened to like a higher up. And then he's like, you know what?
Browsing my photo website. Hey, damn it! You come back here, hooligan!
He's like,
drop his skim milk and goes running after him.
Shaking my fist.
Yeah. I won't stand for this malarkey. So now the idea is that once you buy a cell phone that's stolen, you'll never want to do it again, and so the market for stolen cell phones will dry up.
That's good.
Hallelujah, amen.
That's great.
I wish I had this freaking 10 years ago when that happened to me.
That blows, dude. And that's one of those things that, like, I don't know. I feel like it's a West Coast thing. Like, you look the other way when things are happening, and you're just like, oh, it's not my business.
Dude, I walked around to the parking lot at the restaurants, and I was like, did you guys see anyone break into my car? And everyone said no. I'm like, you didn't see anyone break into a car and walk off. I'm not joking. The sack was one of those industrial mail sacks. It was huge. It was probably 4.5 feet long, maybe 3 feet around.
I ship those all the time.
Yeah, it's the same ones that you use all the time.
About. It's gigantic, yeah.
And they even left some boxes behind that they had opened in my car, and they had fingerprints on them. And I was like, I went to the police, and I was like, I have their fingerprints. They're like, we're not even gonna do anything about this.
I don't understand that, you know, like
I don't either.
I don't understand, like, theft is so disregard. Like, if somebody broke into your house and stole all your camera equipment, like, that would be like, oh well.
Yeah, the police are like, well, good thing you have insurance.
Yeah,
they're not gonna do anything.
They're not gonna investigate that shit.
Yeah, no, that's actually what that's what they'll say too. Are you gonna do anything about this? We don't investigate this shit. We just let it. Did he murder anyone while he was here? No. Okay.
There's no semen on anything.
Yeah. Is semen anywhere? Okay, then we're gonna leave.
You have a good day.
Yeah, we'll send you a bill. Yeah, you have a good day, sir. So ridiculous. Yeah, they don't do anything for you. Freaking coppers.
Fight the power.
Yeah, right. So anyway, this is a really good thing, and I'm really happy to see. They said they're going to start with like the major carriers first, and
I really like that image, by the way.
Oh yeah,
we should show that.
Freaking.
That's basically the guy that got away with your stuff right there. Took a picture on his new camera phone.
You know what's even crazier is if you have stuff stolen, odds are some of it ends up at a pawn shop, right? Mm-hmm. And what you have to do, most people don't know this, what you have to do is call all the different pawn shops and give them your information. And the pawn shop either has the at least at the time, they had the right to refuse the sale, or once they bought it from you, you could, they would contact you, and you had the right to buy it back from them for what they paid for
That's
it.
ridiculous.
And I'm like, so you're gonna buy it from a thief, and you're gonna make me pay you to get it back? You know, like, you should be, like, pawn shops should be the ones that have to get screwed, right? So if you buy stolen goods,
yeah,
they you're the one that should get screwed, not me.
I feel like at this day and age, it's like, everything is, like, wireless, everything is tracked, everything has a paper trail, you know, so to speak, a digital one.
Yeah.
That it's like laziness that they don't update their system, you know, that they treat it like it's the 40s where it's like, oh, you got your pearl necklace stolen? Oh, that's that, you know?
Well, that's too bad. Any semen anywhere?
Yeah.
No? Have a good day.
So that's good. I'm glad. I didn't understand this story, and I was like, okay, oh, all right.
It's funny because, like, if you shop online, like, all of your accounts, you have, like, these, like, you have an account set up, you have your history, your buying history there, but it's like, if you go to, like, a Target and you lose your paper receipt, sorry.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
some stupid
it's
shit.
like, they could totally track everything electronically, right?
And they do.
And they do online.
They do it for marketing purposes, dude.
Yeah, they just don't tie it to you.
Yeah.
Like, and even at some grocery stores or stores, you have a little card that you scan.
They do that. They do it there.
Yeah,
like,
all they would need is your... No, they even have your name.
They have your name because you put in your friggin' phone number.
And yet, if you don't have your receipt, you can't make a return.
Yeah.
So they totally do it just to screw you.
I've always wondered, can you return, like, a whole thing of groceries?
I think so. Most grocery... I used to work at a grocery store, and we were really lenient. Like, pretty much anything you returned.
Like, this apple's gross.
Dude, I know Trader Joe's does that. Like,
really?
Like, oh, yeah. And actually, Trader Joe's is great. Like, even if you're like, I don't even have it with me, but it was bad, they'll just give you a free one.
Really?
Totally. Yeah.
Does it too?
Costco does that. Costco's great.
I
Yeah.
opened some barbecue sauce and didn't like it and brought it back.
I sneezed on this barbecue sauce, and now it has sneeze germs on it. I want a new one. Yes, ma'am. You have a good day.
Okay.
This show's going downhill fast. Let's wrap it up.
All right. Well,
so,
AirPod. No.
Yeah. No, you go first.
I'll go first.
Okay.
If anyone wanted to know where they could find you on the internet, what would be the best way to contact you? Aside from saying, Airfon Elijah phone number.
Oh gosh, probably Twitter. I'm at Erfon, ERFON on Twitter. And if you're interested in Might Tees, you can find us on Twitter also at MIGHTTEES. What about you?
I am on the internet too. Just at Roberto Hoyos, ROBERTOHOYOS. And if you're interested in Throwboy, you can also go to throwboy.com, or we're at Throwboy, basically everywhere.
You are everywhere, that's true.
So,
this has been episode 12
of User Friendly. We thank you for watching. If you'd like to, you can subscribe to us on YouTube and on iTunes.
Yes. And you can watch our shows at userfriendlyshow.com.
That's right. So, everyone out there, have a good night.
We should add sparkles on the ring right there.